The Zephyrian Council had conquered 17 star systems without breaking a sweat. Their crystalline ships cut through space like shards of living glass, their plasma weaponry reducing entire fleets to cosmic dust. Fear was a concept they had observed in other species, a curious biological malfunction that made creatures freeze or flee when logic dictated they should simply adapt or perish. Commander Krikstal stood on the bridge of the flagship Eternal Shard, watching the blue-green world called Earth rotate slowly beneath them. The humans had refused surrender, despite overwhelming evidence of their technological inferiority. It was almost amusing. Status report. Krikstal's voice resonated through the ship's neural network, a harmonic frequency that made the crystalline walls sing softly. The human colony ship Perseverance has landed on the volcanic moon of Io-7, reported Tactical Officer Velnara. They're attempting to establish a mining operation in the lava fields. Should we destroy them immediately? Krikstal's optical sensors shifted to amber, the equivalent of what humans might call curiosity. No, let them struggle. I want to observe this stubbornness they exhibit. The Zephyrians had studied human psychology extensively. They understood the concept of courage as a chemical reaction, adrenaline and dopamine creating the illusion of bravery. They had dissected human military tactics, finding them crude but occasionally effective through sheer numerical advantage. What they couldn't comprehend was why humans continued fighting when victory was mathematically impossible. 3 rotations. Later, Krikstal received an unexpected transmission from the surface of Io-7. Zephyrian vessel, this is Mining Supervisor Sarah Chen of the Terran Colonial Authority. We need to talk. The audacity was remarkable. Krikstal almost dismissed the transmission before deciding that studying human delusion might prove educational. Speak, human. One of your scout ships crash-landed in Sector 7. Your pilot is alive, but trapped in a lava tube. Our sensors show the volcanic chamber is going to collapse in 6 hours. After that, Chen's voice carried what the Zephyrians had learned to recognize as human emotional inflection. We're going in to get him. Krikstal's crystalline form pulsed with confusion. You would risk your lives for an enemy combatant? Yeah, well, that's what we do. But here's the thing. The only path to your pilot goes through the Hellfire Canyon. The surface temperature there is 200 degrees Celsius. Your scout would have died instantly if he'd crashed there. We're the only ones crazy enough to walk through it. The transmission ended. Krikstal immediately contacted the scout ship's emergency beacon. The pilot, Zurwin, confirmed the humans' assessment. He was trapped, wounded, and the geological instability was increasing by the hour. Why do they wish to save me? Zurwin's transmission was weak but clear. I was mapping their defenses. I am their enemy. It was a question that echoed through the Zephyrian command structure. Their strategic computers ran probability analyses, searching for hidden motives, long-term tactical advantages, anything that might explain the humans' illogical behavior. They found nothing. 6 hours later, the Zephyrian fleet watched in stunned silence as 3 figures in bulky environmental suits approached the hellish landscape of Hellfire Canyon. The surface glowed like molten metal, thermal vents spewing superheated gas into the thin atmosphere. The lead figure, the woman who had called herself Chen, paused at the canyon's edge. Through their long-range sensors, the Zephyrians watched, her turn to her companions. Even through the interference, they could hear her voice over the comm channel. Remember, stay in single file. The suit's thermal protection will last maybe 20 minutes in there. Don't touch anything that's glowing, which is pretty much everything. And if someone falls behind, we don't leave anyone behind, one of her companions replied. That's the rule. That's the rule, Chen confirmed. Then she stepped into the fire. The Zephyrians had witnessed supernovas, watched black holes, devour entire star systems, observed the birth and death of civilizations, but they had never seen anything like this. 3 humans, walking calmly through an environment that would instantly vaporize most known life forms, their movements deliberate and unhurried despite the countdown timer marking their suit's protection failure. They disappeared into the canyon's depths, their thermal signatures lost among the lava flows. 47 minutes later, 27 minutes beyond their suits' rated protection, 4 figures emerged from the opposite end of the canyon. The fourth was unmistakably Zephyrian, supported between 2 humans whose environmental suits showed critical system failures across all parameters. Chen's voice came through the static. "Zurwin is alive. He's got a broken crystalline matrix and some thermal damage, but he'll live. We're heading to the extraction point." Krixtal found himself unable to respond immediately. Around him, the bridge crew stood in absolute silence. Finally, he activated the communication array. "Human, Chen, why?" The response came without hesitation. "Because that's what humans do. We walk through fire to save people. All people. Even our enemies." For the first time in Zephyrian recorded history, Commander Krixtal experienced something his species had never known. His crystalline form resonated at a frequency it had never produced before, a deep subsonic hum that spoke of uncertainty, of recognition that there were forces in the universe beyond logic and calculation. It was the sound of fear, not fear of death or pain or defeat, fear of something far more profound, the realization that they had encountered a species whose strength came not from technology or tactics, but from something the Zephyrians couldn't quantify, couldn't predict, couldn't defeat. They had seen humans walk through fire to save an enemy, and in that moment they understood that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their nuclear arsenals or their warships. It was their absolute refusal to let the universe make them less than what they chose to be. The Zephyrian fleet withdrew that day, their conquest incomplete. In their archives, they recorded a new classification for humanity. Species of unquantifiable variables. Approach with extreme caution. Some fires, they learned, burned too bright to extinguish, and humans walked through them all.